Hi, welcome back to another video. It is me, Abbayabbadoo, and today we are going to talk about a really important topic, which is rat respiratory issues. And before we get started, I want to point out that these issues are extremely common in rats. And if you're thinking about owning rats, you need to know that this is going to happen multiple times while you own them. The good thing is they're treatable. Bad thing is you have to pay for the treatment. And if you're like me, experiencing your first infection is really scary. It just happens really quickly without much warning. And I recently had this experience and I thought it would be a good idea to talk about it so that more people know about this side of owning rats. Rats are experts at hiding how they feel for as long as possible. So it's really important to know all the signs and symptoms of an infection. First, I'm going to talk about why rats get these infections. Rats have very sensitive respiratory systems which can be affected by dusty bedding. So avoid wood shavings with dust, and instead you can use hemp, which is what I use, or you could use snowflake shavings. I've never used snowflake shavings before, but a lot of people have recommended it to me. If you're planning to DIY a deep base to your cage, which is what a lot of people with critinations do since not many cages provide a deep base, you want a bedding that can hold a burrow because rats are burrowing animals. So like I said, snowflake and hemp are really good for holding structure. And if you're providing a dig box because you can't make a deep tray, then I guess the substrate you could use for the main part of the cage, you could use cat litter, but it's a bit of like a touchy subject because some people argue that you won't be able to litter train your rats as easy, or the cat litter could be painful for them to walk on, but I've never experienced this properly before. My rats did have litter in the main base of their cage literally for 2 days. So I couldn't say I was experienced enough to tell you if it was good or bad. One day I'll do a full video on the different type of bedding you can use for your rats, just like I did for guinea pigs, but those are some quick suggestions for now. Second reason is ammonia buildup. This comes from all the waste left over in their cage. Rats scent mark all the time, so you want to find a balance between cleaning too much and cleaning too little, because if you clean too much, your rats will go mad and get really upset that their scent isn't in the cage anymore, and then just scent mark like crazy. But then obviously if you don't clean enough, then you're going to have lots of ammonia building up in your cage. Not only that, your room will stink of rat pee. I would recommend a litter tray and a pee stone to minimize cleaning and keep their waste in one place. I clean mine every other day and litter training them was really easy. As for hammocks, I mean, I have female rats. This could be different for males because I know they scent mark way more than girls. The girls don't get too messy with scent marking. I will clean the hammocks every 2 weeks in fairy liquid and just make sure all the scent of the pee and fairy liquid is completely out before I put it back in the cage. For other surfaces like the plastic in their cage, you can use either a 50-50 vinegar and water solution, or I use baby wipes just because that's easier for me to access, but you don't want to use any strong chemically sprays or cleaning supplies like Dettol, or a lot of these sprays that are advertised as being for small animals and having a nice scent that masks the dirty pee scent in their cage. You don't want to use that because that can also contribute to them getting an infection. And having cold or damp environments. You want to keep your rats warm and dry. My room is really hot anyway, so they're okay for that, but keep your rats away from any drafts from a window. Or another way they can get an infection is illnesses caused by bacteria or viruses. Now let's go over the signs you should watch out for. Sneezing or wheezing. Small amounts of porphyrin are normal, especially in older rats, and it usually happens when they just wake up, sort of like, you know how humans get sleep, but lots of it is a big red flag for an infection, especially when it's all bubbly around their nose, just as if your rat's had a super snotty nose. Laboured breathing. This is what happened to my rat Mabel a few days ago, and it's super scary to walk into your rat just sat at the bottom of the cage and struggling to breathe. Another sign is, you know, not wanting to play, being super sleepy, not really moving much. A loss of appetite, or this rattling, clicking noise. It comes from their chest and their nose usually, and it's when they breathe. So what should you do if you notice these symptoms in your rats? Well, the first step is to visit an exotics vet. Not many vets will take in animals like rats, so you want to make sure that the vet near you does take in rats, or you need to find an exotics vet. Now, your vet might provide antibiotics, which is what my rats have had, and you just syringe feed it to them. I have a syringe here to show you. The amount will be different for every single rat, so never try and treat it at home with antibiotics that you might have had before for previous infections. You want to be sure that you're giving them the right amount, because all of my rats have had an infection so far and they have all needed different amounts. Or nebulizing treatments, which helps medication go directly into their lungs. You could also ease their discomfort by putting your rats in a carrier and then bringing them in the bathroom while you shower. And it sounds really weird, but the steam from the shower will just help them breathe easier. And feeding them very small amounts of dark chocolate, and dark chocolate only. They cannot eat any other types of chocolate. It can ease their pain slightly. Do not believe anyone that tells you it will cure an infection. It will not. That's a big myth. You never want to believe that. It's just a comfort measure. And to help try and prevent infections in the future, you can try cleaning the cage regularly. So I spot clean every other day. And I will deep clean once every 3 to 4 weeks, and I use an air purifier to get rid of all the dust in the room. Or you could use a scentless humidifier. You know, you can get those ones where you put like scent droplets in. You don't want to use the scent droplets, just put water in it and let it go into the air. It's sort of the same as a steamy shower. And if you're thinking of introducing new rats, just quarantine them for 2 weeks, because they get new home sniffles anyway, which is what first panicked me, because I thought, oh, they're getting an infection, they haven't even been here for a full night. But it's kind of hard to tell the difference between an infection and new home sniffles, so I would just quarantine them to be sure they don't have any illnesses. So yeah, like I said, they're very scary to deal with for the first time. So I hope this video has helped, but with the right care and quick action, most rats will recover well. Remember, always keep an eye out for symptoms. Thank you all for watching, and I hope this video helped. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!